Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really grim Gothic fable about an ancient cartographer. And we're going to use this story to dive deep into Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy, specifically his idea of the wanderer and the birth of the free spirit. This isn't just some story about drawing maps. It's a pretty intense look at the terrifying, yet ultimately liberating journey of shedding the comforting illusions that society builds for all of us.
But at night, the stars shone in their true positions, indifferent to human longing. Just let that sink in for a second. It perfectly captures the chilling reality we're about to explore. It throws us straight into a universe that, frankly, doesn't care at all about our comforting myths or what we desperately want to be true. It really sets the stage for a cold, isolating intellectual awakening.
Part 1. The City of Sacred Myths.
So imagine a city where the foundations were laid before human memory even began. Living there is this old mapmaker who spent 40 years illuminating the city's official charts. Now, he wasn't just drawing roads, he was literally mapping the known universe for his people. And these maps were massive cosmological declarations. They showed paradise, exactly located just past the Eastern Mountains, guarded by gods whose names were etched in actual gold leaf. Everybody, merchants, pilgrims, politicians, navigated their entire lives by these sacred images. And the mapmaker, he took massive comfort in them. It's that really cozy feeling of believing you know exactly where you fit in a perfectly ordered divine universe. Part 2. The cold stars discrepancy. Picture a totally clear autumn evening. The mapmaker climbs up to his observatory to check the angle of a distant summit for a new map. But when he looks through his measuring instrument, something's off. The alignment just refuses to resolve. The star he's looking at is nowhere near where the sacred drawings say it should be. And he doesn't just accept this right away, right? It kicks off this agonizing internal struggle. Day 1, he spots the discrepancy. By month 1, he is deep in denial. He's adjusting, he's recalculating, he literally blames his instrument and sends for a new one. But of course, the second instrument tells the exact same cold story. By month 2, he's basically trying to cover it up with art. He keeps making the official charts, but he draws an even more ornate paradise, adding all these gilded cherubim, like somehow making it prettier will magically settle his doubts. Finally, by month 3, he hits that inescapable wall of truth. He just can't unlearn what he's seen. Part 3. Deconstructing the corrupted text.
Driven by this harsh, absolutely unforgiving need for accuracy, the mapmaker makes a massive choice. He leaves the city gates behind, taking nothing but his measuring tools, and steps out into the barren desert as a wanderer. He doesn't belong to his old home anymore, but he doesn't have a new destination either. And this physical journey? It perfectly mirrors Nietzsche's concept of philological deconstruction. See, before Nietzsche was a philosopher, he was a philologist, a scholar of ancient texts. Back in antiquity, philologists would strip away all the careless scribal errors to find a text's original true form. Nietzsche's wanderer does exactly this, but to human nature itself. He treats culture, morality, and religion like they're just corrupted manuscripts. The wanderer is basically acting as a master text critic on reality, stripping away centuries of societal rewrites to find the objective truth.
Let's break down how this actually works. First, the wanderer completely isolates himself in the barren desert, leaving all those comforting echoes of the city far behind. Second, he analyzes his surroundings and his own mind, totally coldly, with zero emotional bias. And third, he takes these huge, heavy concepts, words like good and evil, and exposes them as mere human inventions. He's stripping human language of all its heavy metaphysical baggage, exactly like the mapmaker shedding those incorrect gold-leafed maps. Part 4. Birth of the Free Spirit. Now, this painful, super isolating period of wandering triggers a profound intellectual awakening. It's a metamorphosis that takes a ridiculous amount of courage. This is what Nietzsche calls the birth of the Freigeist, the free spirit. This is a liberated mind that actively rejects the cozy, artificial shelter of absolute truths, and instead learns to actually love the cold, shifting winds of perspective. The free spirit accepts that human history and morality aren't divine laws handed down from above. They're just evolutionary accidents. There's no ultimate purpose, no grand final destination mapped out for us. And once you finally accept that, the joy comes entirely from the brave act of uncovering reality exactly as it is. Look at the stark trade-off here. It lays it all out. On one side, you have the old mythic city, packed with comforting illusions, absolute truths, and heavy metaphysical baggage. On the other side, the unmapped peak, objective reality, shifting perspectives, and harsh, unforgiving truth.
It is a really terrifying exchange, honestly. You're leaving behind beautiful lies to stand a freezing, but wide awake on an unmapped peak.
Part 5. The Metaphorical Noon.
As our wanderer pushes forward, the whole vibe of his journey shifts. He realizes the desert isn't some wasteland of despair at all. It's a massive landscape of liberation. He hits what Nietzsche calls the metaphorical noon. Imagine the sun directly overhead. There are zero shadows. The shadows of all those old superstitions shrink to absolute nothingness. In this brilliant, clarifying light, the wanderer realizes that by smashing the false idols of his past, he hasn't lost the world. Actually, he's finally gained complete ownership of his own mind. And this brings our narrative arc full circle. Our mapmaker, our wanderer, he isn't an exile running from a lost paradise anymore. He's a pioneer. He's staring out at this completely open, unmapped horizon. Because he shattered those old, false maps, he now gets the incredible, joyful responsibility of drawing new ones. He's gone from a passive follower of ancient dogma to an active pioneer, totally ready to create his own values. So, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. We all have our own official charts, right? What sacred cartography are you using to navigate your life? What comforting illusions are you quietly relying on? And maybe most importantly, do you have the courage to climb up to the observatory, look through the lens, and measure your map against the cold, indifferent stars? It's a terrifying prospect, for sure, but as the free spirit shows us, it might just be the only way to truly own your mind. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it leaves you looking at your own maps a little differently today.